What's up, YouTube? Kedris here, and man, did we have a treat yesterday with the Champions League matches. I watched the Sporting against Bodo Glint match, and I was like, yes, that is football, baby. I honestly wanted Bodo Glint to go through, but Sporting came back in such a spectacular fashion, man. I just found myself rooting for them. And then the last second goal to send it to overtime, to extra time, bro. That's why football is so great. That's why football is so loved. Man. On a side note, Man City and who was it? Oh yeah, Chelsea have been utterly destroyed and bombed out of the Champions League. Arsenal had a comfortable victory, but honestly, based on the performances so far, I'm going to watch again today. But I think Arsenal are not going to get very far in Europe. I think Arsenal will win the Premier League and then lose in Europe, probably like the semifinals or something like that. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for Forest news and content. So we're going to talk about the upcoming Midtjylland match. Let's get into it. Starting with all match previews, we start with injuries. Unfortunately for Europa, the website I use for injuries doesn't cover it. So I just go with the SofaScore lineup since I use the FOTMob lineup builder for the lineup. I thought, let's use both. Not sponsored by either, by the way. And looking at this, Fanculino is still out. He's their star striker. Gorgozo's out. Renhilzen, Bellinho. All these guys are going to be out, I believe. Looking at our lineup, the usual suspects are there. Ortega, Victor, Jair Cunha, Savona, Bali, and Wood. I did see on X that a lot of people were like, oh man, Wood could be coming back early and whatnot. I still think Wood's not going to come back till the end of April. One thing that I don't want to see happen is for him to come back at 60, 70% health, go into the match, and then just re-injure himself in that same match. I just think that it'd be really dumb to do. My preference would be he reach at least 90% and then kind of get match fitness by playing in the match. I saw a lot of people have lineups with him and Igor Jesus playing. Just from my experience, looking at the type of players they are and how they interacted in preseason, I don't think it would work because they kind of drop into the same areas and do kind of the same thing. It's just that Chris Wood is more of a fox in the box than Igor Jesus is. Well, I mean, I understand the fans, us, me, we're all desperately looking for a way out, a way to save ourselves, and we want to grasp on anything we can. Moving to the Midtjylland lineup, I honestly just copy pasted the lineup they used against us in the first leg. I don't see any reason for them to change. Francolino is now back, so I don't expect him to start. This is the lineup they usually go with. It's a little defensive, more defensive than their other type of lineup, who has like Orsolino over here. I expect them to sit in, be hard to break down, hit us on the counterattack. And it's going to be interesting because they're going to have a lead. And a lot of times when teams have a lead and they're at home, they kind of relax. I expect them to defend with better energy for like the first half and maybe 10 minutes after the second half. What comes after that, though, in the last 20 minutes could be interesting, especially with only a one-goal lead. Maybe they push for the second goal before halftime, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to commentate on it. It's always interesting. So if you want to join the live stream, if you can. And we all have fun over there, man. We really do. Next up is the Forest lineup. I think we have to fully rotate for this game. I am not one of those people who kind of want us to go further in Europe. And I think a lot of the people who are like calling for us to do something in Europe are really being very selfish. I really want us to focus especially on the Tottenham match this weekend. So the lineup I'm going to pick is going to be very conservative. It's going to be very rotated. I think a lot of the players like Morgan Gibbs-White, like I said the previous segment, could come on late in the match to see if they can do something. But overall, I don't really want to see any of our starters on the pitch. So, in that regard, I think you keep the back five together at least, just not to concede another goal. Also, like, you don't really expect much exertion from your back line. So, mm, problem is Murillo plays too hard. I think what we're going to see is going to be Milinkovic and Morato, which is really worrying that we're going to concede again. But like I said, I want to see a full rotation. So throwaway game for me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to be the one to say it. It's a throwaway game. So we could see a reprisal of Zach Abbott at right back. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing some more of him there. He's had good moments. It's not his natural position. I understand that, but if you put him there and then you put say Ina at left back, and then say at halftime you switch out Ina for Nico Williams, I believe that's the best approach for how to preserve the team defensively while also resting the players that need to be rested. So I'd play Ina, and then at halftime, I'd switch him for Nico Williams. That way, they only get 45 minutes apiece, so it doesn't wear them out too much. And I just keep these three on for the majority of the game. Moving to the midfield, I don't want to see Anderson. I don't want to see Sangare. I'm okay with Gibb White maybe late in the game, but I think it should be Yates and Dominguez who play. There we go. Yates and Dominguez. I'd like to see these two be the starters. Like I said, I'm okay with Williams. I'm okay with Morgan Gibbs White coming on real late in the match. I'm okay with. I don't want to see Murillo actually. I'm okay. Nets is not eligible. I just don't want to see either one of these guys. They need to be in tip-top shape for the match. The only reason I even accept Morgan Gibbs White coming on is because he's really highly paid, and I know he's got energy and bundles. So that kind of makes it to where the options eliminate themselves. I think McAtee is going to play. I believe, looking at the wingers, Ndoye had a great debut, or not debut, a great reintroduction to the game against Fulham. Do you start him? Man, I think definitely you start Bakwa. You just have to rest Hutchinson. He needs to be at the top of his game for Tottenham. I want him to start. In fact, he needs to start. And then looking at the other wingers, you're really picking here, aren't you? I think it's Ndoye. I think you start Ndoye, but you bring him off at 60 for Callum. I want him kind of fresh for the Tottenham game, but he can also be a guy who comes on and makes an impact like he did at Fulham. I'm also okay with that. So let's go with that. Let's just go with that. And then for the striker, I want to say Igor Jesus because I think Taiwo should start against Tottenham. I think it should be Igor. And then Luca is another candidate to come on. Morgan Gibbs White. There's 3 subs for you right there, honestly. And I'm okay with this lineup. I'm okay with this match not being the top priority. I'm okay with it being a full rotation. And maybe, you never know. Maybe with this different change-up, this different lineup, we get a reaction. And these players are not without talent, man. They could do something that maybe surprises all of us and kind of subverts expectations. I'm not expecting much, but that's what I would go with. Like I said, I don't want to take this match too seriously. Tottenham is the important match. Anybody who doesn't think that, you're just being selfish, bro. You're just being selfish. So, that was my preview for the match. What do I think the scoreline is going to be with this team that I put out? I actually think we score. I really do. I think the players will be up for it, especially the ones that I put out. I think we might see some interesting performances from certain guys who haven't really had a chance or have actually looked pretty crap. Overall, I want to say the score is going to be 1-1 and with an aggregate of 2-1 to Midtjylland, and they go through. I'm not saying that to be a negative Nancy. I'm a logic based person, so I analyze the match. I pick what's the best for my team. I look at the other team and what they're most likely to do, and then I come to a conclusion based on that. And I usually get this at least the score right, if not who actually wins. But I think 1-1. I think it's going to be an interesting match, very cagey, a lot of scrappiness, and it's going to be an interesting watch. So join us if you can. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. I really enjoy the comments, guys. I'm getting a lot more of them lately, which I love it. Saves me from trolling around on X. So if you want to save me from doing that, please comment down below. I like to hear your opinion. Is Europe that important? Is it more important than Tottenham? Let me know. And at the end of the day, come on, you Reds.